Hey guys, Moose here. We are back with some more Stonehearth. I'm feeling quite a bit better. Meds are doing their work, but still coughing occasionally, so I may need to look aside, mute the mic briefly to do that, but other than that, things are going pretty well. Get rid of this vault, and finally we're getting to the point where we are... Yeah, fuck it, just say none. Do it. You're already doing it anyway. Almost there. We'll be able to get rid of this building, get rid of these buildings. Probably already could get rid of these ones. We need more houses, though. We don't really have room. Actually, you know what? This one might be kind of covering for things. Oh, fuck. Good thing I looked over here. Everyone go home, because I don't trust you guys to not die. Yeah, I can see that. Thank you. Murder him. Let's undo that. There we go. Alright, now we can see what's going on. Alright, well that's an eventful beginning of the episode. Yeah, we're fine. Alright, we don't need to pay attention to this. We can let them out. No healers here. No big deal. It's just annoying archers that are going to take forever to kill. Anyway, it's winter, as I'm sure you're aware, particularly if you live somewhere not as warm as California, where I am, but it's actually quite cold here too, and it actually gets below freezing. Surprisingly, a lot of people don't realize that, but it actually, San Jose, San Francisco, that area, it actually absolutely gets below freezing. Not all the time, but there's, you know, obviously at night and frequently in the morning as well, and there was quite a while where I'd be biking to school through the frost. And, you know, everyone's car windshield was, you know, covered because of the frost, and then I'd be freezing, wearing like 5 layers because I have low blood pressure and can't keep myself warm very well. So it definitely gets cold here, despite what people think. Obviously not nearly as bad as other places. Canada's quite a bit colder, obviously, and but really it comes down to consistency more than, like, whether or not it actually hits that temperature. Because it gets cold at night, obviously. I don't think that's really that surprising to anyone. Maybe it's surprising that it gets too freezing. But, yeah. And it's actually snowed in San Jose before. In my lifetime, too, when I lived there. We have years where it would go over 100 Fahrenheit in the summer, and, you know, it'd also snow. And we'd be sitting in, basically downtown San Jose with a little bit of snow coming down. None of it lasted on the ground, of course, because, come on, of course it didn't, but, you know, it still snowed. That's still meaningful. But anyway, mostly I only saw that kind of stuff in Canada, obviously, when I was in Toronto. That's where the majority of my snow experience was, but honestly, even there, it never really accumulated that much on the ground. There were only a few times where it really got to, like, a few feet of snow on the ground. Other than that, generally you just have... well, you know, a little bit powder, just like a less than an inch worth of snow on the ground at any given time. It's not bad at all. The only real problem, the real issue, snow is fine. Snow is like never a problem. Unless there's a fuckload of it, then obviously that's a problem. The real problem that you run into when it's winter is when it goes above freezing and then goes back down below freezing, because what winds up happening, if you're not familiar, is it'll snow, and then it'll go above freezing during the day, so some of the snow will melt. Not all of it, but some of it. And sorry, I have to cough real quick. So some of the snow melts. Like I said, not all of it, because it's not an instant process, it takes some time, but some snow melts. Why? You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to sell all these. I don't think there's any reason... Okay, you don't have enough gold. I don't think there's any reason to hold on to them. I don't know why I was doing that. Alright. See how they're doing with these. So yeah, the snow will melt. And then you've got a little bit of water on the ground. And a little bit of snow on the ground. So then the snow's... generally at that point, the snow's dirty. So that's kind of gross on its own. Because, again, I was living in Toronto. Scarborough is the outskirts. It was the suburbs of Toronto. But it's still, you know, fairly urban. So you got dirty snow. And then under it, you've got snow that had melted and then refrozen, which at that point is ice. So now you've got ice hidden under snow, and that's where things really become a problem. because you can't really see the ice. And even if you can directly, the ice is exposed to the air, even then, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell where the sidewalk starts and the ice ends, or where the ice ends or begins or anything. So you wind up slipping a lot. I'm proud to say that I never fell. I will credit my time playing ice hockey and maintaining my balance with that great success of my life. One of the biggest successes I've ever had in my life that I'm most proud of, depressingly, is that I didn't fall on ice in Toronto when I lived there. Just looking for some monsters here. But one time I did fall, but it had nothing to do with ice, I maintain. Basically what happened was we had townhouses. It wasn't like a dorm, though I did live in a dorm at one point. But they were mostly townhouses. So we had our little, I think that one was like a 6-person one, and each person had their own room, so it was 3 floors, 2 bedrooms each, but it was like it wasn't really 3 floors, it was like the bottom floor had like a common room and a kitchen, and then you go up like a half flight of stairs, and then on the other side of the building you have 2 rooms, and you go up the other direction a half flight of stairs back towards the front of the building, and you have another 2 rooms, and then back up, and then it's the last 2 at the top. And I think the first and last floors had, by first, I mean up the first half flight of stairs, had a bathroom, and then the very top had a bathroom too. So the entryway, though, was like the door was in a little bit. It was like you'd have sliding doors in the front, sliding glass doors in the front that you could look out of that looked into the common room, and then like to the right of that you'd have like inset a little bit the front door with a porch and everything. It's pretty nice. I was very lucky to live there. I was very lucky that I picked a school that had that, and basically the only reason I knew is because I had a friend who was already going there. So I lucked out. I'll keep all this stuff. So I got very lucky, but the thing was that, you know, there's pavement out in front. Everything, there's a lot of stuff that was paved, so, you know, that degrades over time, and it's not generally even. So there's some areas, and if you have lived in an area like this, you probably already know where this is going. There's some areas where there's a dip. And that dip doesn't necessarily have drainage. So if it rains or it snows and then the snow melts, you can get water building up there. And it doesn't generally go away until it evaporates. Or someone deals with it. And the school would come around and deal with it occasionally, but generally not. They just leave it. And it got especially bad when you got snow buildup, because this snow would basically act as a barrier. And you can't do anything anyway. I mean, I might just go kill you. Oh, you guys are being dicks. Yeah, I'm gonna go kill you. They have an archer that's like shooting down from up there. It's okay, I'll go kill. Well, they don't want to go kill them. A lot of them are getting the command. They're not really interested in following my commands. Yeah, this is whatever. No, you know what? Now that you've gotten into range, they're gonna fight. Okay. Murder him. There you go, he finally got out there. So snow would build up, some would melt, and you've created like a valley between the front door and part of the pathway leading into the house. So what wound up happening was melted snow water is very, very clear. And this also happened because you'd have heat coming out from the house, which of course would melt some of the snow. So the front door was like prime puddle territory, and I was not very aware of this because it honestly didn't happen that often. It only happened one time that I remember. Just kill him, please. So I was coming home from class. It was late. It was dark. It's pretty far north, so in the winter it gets dark quite early. And sorry, I gotta cough one more time. So it gets dark pretty early, like 4 o'clock, maybe 5 o'clock. Probably earlier than that, but I can't really remember. Summer's awesome because it got light out at like 6 a.m., which gave you so much fucking energy. It was fantastic, but it's a story for another time. But yeah, so it was very dark. Porch light was on, but the water's incredibly clear because it's melted snow. So there's no debris in it, really. It's just snow, pretty much. So I'm come home and I walk up to the door. I look and it's, you know, looks completely, the water's completely still. There's no wind. Looks like there's nothing there. So I step into it, and I didn't really slip, but it was, you know, it was one of those things where you're not expecting there to be something to contact with. Suddenly you lose your balance because you didn't plan for that, basically, when you were taking a step. So suddenly I step into the water and oh fuck. And I just dunked myself completely right in front of my door. And like, it was not shallow. It was like a good half-foot deep. So I was in. Like, my feet, my boots were completely soaked, my pants were completely soaked. I think the only part of me that wasn't soaked was like the upper part of my backpack, and then like the upper 3/4 of my shirt and jacket and all that, but it was bad. And luckily I was at home, so I could just walk in and take everything off, pretty much. Not everything, but, you know, a lot of it. And then walk upstairs and just change. But that was like the worst way. I can't remember if I was having a bad day. I think I remember I pretty much just laughed it off. So I think I was having a pretty decent day at the time. But it was an unfortunate lesson in living somewhere where weather is an actual factor that you need to consider. I don't know why I'm buying polio feathers. It's probably no reason at all to do that. But yeah, I was not prepared. I did not realize that was going to be an issue that I was going to need to deal with, and it absolutely was an issue that I needed to deal with that I was completely unprepared for. So it sucked, but, you know, it's not a big deal. Just washed my clothes and moved on with life. It was a fun experience, though. I mean, in retrospect, it's a story that I can tell. And I'm always going to remember that. Because I swear to God, I think I took a picture of it, actually. I think I might still have that picture, because after I fucked up, I went back outside and took a picture of the puddle, and like, if you look at the picture, you still can't tell there's really a puddle there, unless you know it's there. I think I tried showing it to Karen, and I can't remember if she could tell there was water there or not. I don't think she could. I want to say she couldn't, but I don't know for sure. But, yeah. College was a little rough with the weather. Usually it wasn't that bad. In fact, honestly, it was mostly beautiful. The thing was, I didn't have a car, so it, like, a lot of it didn't really bother me. There's not much difference between walking through no snow and walking through a little snow. Whereas in a car, you lose traction, and there's issues there. Still not there on net worth, but we'll get there. We should probably start up a building, but I don't know. Not in a hurry. Yeah, so not driving, it was never that big of a deal. And honestly, Toronto was pretty mild in general anyway. In fact, I had more of a problem with the heat in the summer than I did with the cold in the winter, because it would get humid. And that sucked. Like, the cold, I don't really care. It's fine, I can tolerate the cold, because you can always put on more clothes. But the worst was the heat. And it was beautiful because they, right behind the school, like, Toronto's a pretty progressive city as far as environmental issues go, I think. So they have, like, I think they call it a green belt. And it's basically just like a whole length of land that it's like a elongated park with like a trail through it. So I'd walk through that in the summer just to kind of get some exercise and relax. Oh, fuck. I think we're good. I don't think we need to send everyone home. Just meet them head on so we get into combat. Yeah, we're good. We do need to go deal with these idiots. But yeah, it was very nice. And it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Much more beautiful than a lot of the stuff I see in California. Because what you may not realize about California is, yes, we have a lot of beautiful stuff here. If you go to Santa Cruz is amazing because you've got the redwood trees and everything. But a lot of California isn't actually like forest, it's shrubland. Or brushland, which is, you know, bushes, or tumbleweed, that kind of thing. It's honestly closer to desert than any beautiful natural landscapes, with obviously some exceptions. But the majority of it that I can see, that I have seen, is shrubland, which to me is really not that attractive. It's basically just desert with a little bit of, like, dull green plants. And you have stuff like mountain lions and cougars and, maybe not cougars, I don't know. Definitely mountain lions. Definitely coyotes, though not so much where I am. It's more mountain lions where I am. But not really that much going on. I think we have foxes and we have like legit rabbits, like jackrabbits. I've seen those. Like right by a freeway too. But most of the really beautiful stuff to me is like major forests. Like those are beautiful to me. So Santa Cruz is awesome because you got the redwoods, like I said, but more north is when you see the stuff that's beautiful. Like to me, honestly, stereotypical Washington and Oregon are a lot more beautiful than stereotypical California. But I understand why a lot of people wouldn't agree with me on that, because it's a little bit more cold and rainy up there, but that's what I want. Like I want rain and fog and ferns and big beautiful trees, and I like that. California is a little bit more dry dirt and almost desert, but it's still beautiful. And obviously the coast is a different story. And I have to cough. Sorry. The problem is some of the time when I need to say that I need to cough again, I can't quite make it through that sentence, and my voice gets all stupid, so I apologize for that. But we're definitely getting better. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of... Don't get me wrong, California is my home, and it probably always will be. I'm never going to love another area anywhere near as much as I love California. But, you know, Washington and Oregon are pretty fucking beautiful. And nothing is going to convince me otherwise of that. It's just, it's too nice, you know? That's not what I want. I want to spend more time up there. Like, that's one of the places where I'd say, like, if I was filthy rich and had homes in, like, a couple different places, I'd probably want to get one up there. Washington and Oregon. I don't think Karen would agree with me on that, but that's okay. And not in the city. Like, that would be, I'd want to be in the mountains or something. How do we want to do this? I think... Yes. Yes, I got it perfect. 3 apart here. Okay. What do you got? You have money, which means I want to sell you crap that I don't want. Can I get rid of anything? Probably get rid of some carrots. I really need those. Everything else is kind of decent. Probably queue up some more soup. Yeah, I think that's what we want to do. I know these are used for something, so I want to hold on to them because they're harder to get, I think. And I already have to cough again, apologies. So yeah, I think that's good. We don't really need to sell that much. We've already kind of cleared out our inventory for the most part. Alright, this is good. So finished editing, build, please. And then we will set about connecting it once it's finished. And also setting up more buildings, because we will continue. Do we have a good amount of wood? I don't know if we do. Let's queue up some chopping. Get to work, chumps. I'm gonna chop down some trees. But yeah, honestly, like, some of the areas that don't have green stuff year-round, and California does have green stuff year-round, but some of the areas that don't, I feel like they're a little bit more beautiful. Because Toronto was, like, stunning in the summer, because everything you're so used to this dull, bleak, gray and white wasteland where everything has no color. Even the houses, like, in the winter, psychologically, like, they don't look as colorful. They just don't. Nothing changed, but because of everything that's going on, it just does not look as colorful. It's the weirdest thing. I didn't really notice it actively, but I read something about it later after the fact, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, that happened. And it was very strange. But going from that, which is kind of like hell, I hate it. I love the cold, but I hate that everything is so bland and dull. It was miserable. And maybe I was just depressed at the time. Maybe I'd be fine now, but it just didn't feel good. Going from that to like this beautiful, everything's lush and green, and there's these massive trees they've got their leaves now, and everything looks fantastic. It was amazing. And maybe it was that there was a difference between how things were in the winter and summer, and that's why I think that it was more lush than California is, but I don't know, man. I think it was actually a lot more lush. Because I have pictures and I go back and look and it still kind of stands out how beautiful it was in the summer there. So something to experience if you're thinking about traveling. Consider going to Toronto in the summer. But I mean, I'm telling you to go to look at natural stuff. And if you're going to a giant city, which is Toronto is Canada's giant city, I think. Usually you're not going to be looking at that kind of thing. It's more touristy, you know, hey, here's a place, go to the CN Tower, take a look at the Great Lakes, that kind of thing. Niagara Falls obviously is right there. Usually you do that kind of thing. But what I would recommend is, actually the brickworks in Toronto are really beautiful too. That was one of my favorite places that I only went to once. I should have gone there again. I'll probably take Karen there sometime. We'll go up to Toronto eventually. I think she has family up there, actually, which is funny because I don't. Yet I'm the Canadian one. All mine's in Quebec, I think. I'm not even sure. Yeah, they gotta be in Quebec. I'll have to ask my dad if there's some elsewhere in Canada. That'd be kind of interesting to find out. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly did, and I hope you join us for the next one as well. Take care.